Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lena's Adventure Small Talk. It is so great to be back. We took a month off and now we're back. We took a month off in April. So I just wanted to tell you all that we have a great guest coming forward. We needed a break to revise some things. So I'm so excited to share with you all what's coming and what we have coming up. This is National Foster Care Month. So I am so excited about the things that we are doing. This month, we donated a basket to a foster care parent. We will put the pictures up and tell her story. We'll probably do that in about a week. But we gave her a basket. She is a aunt who adopted, well, she's fostering her three nieces. So we got to bless her, and I'm so glad, and I cannot wait for you guys to see that. Also, this is Teacher Appreciation Week. So we will be donating some things to some great teachers. If you have a teacher that you would like to be nominated to be able to receive a gift from Lena's Adventures, please inbox me and share who you think should be nominated and who you think should receive a gift. So we have some great gifts for these teachers, and we want to be a blessing to them. Lena's Adventures, we want to give back and be a blessing. We also donated 3 cakes this week, so I'm so happy about the cakes moving forward. So there's a lot. So just check out our page, Lena's Adventures. Check out our page and keep updated on what's going on. But today, I'm so proud to say that we have a beautiful guest here today. Her name is Brittany Jackson. I knew her since she was a baby, but she is a beautiful young lady, and she's going to share what she does, and we're going to have a great conversation about children today. So, hello, Brittany. How are you?
Hi, Miss Regina. I am well tonight. Yes, like she said, I've known her since, well, she's known me since
Yes,
before I knew how to say my
yes.
name or anything. So she will always be Miss or Auntie Regina.
Thank
Um,
you.
and because, yeah, grew up respecting my elders.
Yes.
But so I'm Brittany Jackson. I currently reside in Columbus, Ohio, and I work for a great nonprofit organization called Action for Children, which is a child care resource and referral agency, which I'm really excited to talk a little bit about child care here in a little bit. Because if you don't know, your state does have a child care resource and referral agency. I started in education right out of college. I was accepted into Teach for America, where I was placed in Memphis, Tennessee, and taught for 4 years there. Got kind of lonely and homesick and decided to come back to Ohio so that I can continue teaching here. But just life happens and things change. And I got out of the classroom and began working with our quality rating and improvement system. And I have been doing that for the last 8 years, supporting childcare programs, whether they are working inside of their home or if they're in the center, making sure that those who are with our babies are
Mhm.
educated and know all the right developmentally appropriate things to be doing with our children.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's what I do. I support childcare.
Wow, that is wonderful. So today, guys, we're going to be just talking about a little bit about childcare, and we're going to talk about our babies, and giving our children the best, that they need, and that's children that live with grandparents that
Mhm.
have been in foster care or being adopted. Every child needs a great place to be. So Brittany's going to share with us about these things. So, first question I wanted to ask you, Brittany, is why is childcare so important?
Yes, absolutely. So when we think about childcare, a lot of people still refer to it as daycare, right? Because
Mhm.
as a parent, your first thought is, I'm working and my baby got to go somewhere while I work. But we want people to think a little bit more than that because the birth through 5 years, those first 5 years, are the years that set the foundation for your child's life. So you want to make sure that, yes, where you're sending them is somewhere safe where you can feel comfortable while you're working, but you also want to make sure that they are being um, taught. And I know that sounds crazy. A 6 week old, what is a 6 week old being taught? Well, you're teaching them their social emotional skills, right? You're teaching them that attachment and the for for everyone. When we think about like some adults who have issues right now, is
Mhm.
because they didn't learn those adult child bonds at a very young age. They didn't have someone who was loving them and caring for them in those first few weeks of life. So
Yeah.
childcare is important because you want to make sure that from the day that child is born until they walk through the school doors, that they are getting developmentally appropriate practices that are going to have them set for the rest of their lives. You can't get those first 5 years back.
Right, absolutely. And so a lot of times people, like you just mentioned, when you think about childcare, you're just thinking about someone to watch my baby while I'm at work. But you don't think about the developmental, and you don't also think about they're setting the foundation.
Yep.
Wherever your child goes, the, that is the place where that's setting the foundation. And
Mhm.
so we really need to be aware of quality. So
Mhm.
going to the second question, what is quality?
So, what is quality? That is a good question that is actually still trying to be figured out
Okay.
in the ECE field in a lot of ways. When I think about what I tell parents, especially like my friends, right?
Hmm.
You're Most people are not in the education field, right? So you're
Hmm.
going off of what you see other families do. Like, I think my child should be counting by now, but they're not. Or I think my child should know their ABCs by now, but they're not. Or I'm gonna sit my child down and make them write their name in there too. And it's like, but why, right? Quality childcare is having those professionals who have been trained in what's developmentally appropriate, and knowing that that environment that that child is in is going to set them up for the standards that they are supposed to be meeting at each age group. There are certain things that you're supposed to have at each developmental level. um, a childcare professional who is qualified and has been taught knows how to get your child from where they are to where they're supposed to be. They know what is they know the best methods as far as making play important. I know we think as parents, oh, preschool, what did they do all day? They just played. I didn't see them writing their alphabet. Yeah, because at that age, that is a very abstract thought, right?
Right.
Kids don't understand what letters are right away. You have to put it in a net. What we learn from pedagogy is that children learn through their natural interactions. So yeah, your child may have been in the blocks area all day, but guess what? That educated professional put labels on the blocks in their area. So even though they're not sitting them down and saying circle the letter A, your child knows how to say how to read the word street because they're in the block area with labels all around that block area.
Wow.
That's a quality environment, somewhere where that person knows, okay, this is what your child is interested in, and this is what I need them to be able to do. I know that I want them to be able to use their pentagrass, and they like being in a sensory table. So I'm going to put some tweezers in there, and then get some toys that I know that they like to play with, and have them pick it up. Like, it's those kind of things. It's not what we think as parents as what
Yeah.
our children should be doing. It's having qualified teachers, making sure that they're assessing themselves, assessing their practices, making sure that they're continuing their education all the time. They need to be caught up on what's new, what's current. They need to be making sure that they understand developmentally appropriate practice. And above everything else, they need to love children. I think people
Yes.
forget that. People really forget that you have to love your children. The social emotional part is the part that we often forget. And that is the biggest part, especially in those first 5 years. Who cares if they can recite the alphabet? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, at the end
Yes.
of the day, if they can't build an emotional bond between an adult, or learn how to build friendships with one another, that's gonna not allow them to learn anything else. Your social
Wow.
emotional has to be together before you can receive math, before you can receive science. That has to be together first.
So now, for your job, do you go around to different daycares and
Mhm.
help these day directors
Yep.
get these things in
Mhm.
place?
And so, specifically in Ohio, our quality rating improvement system, and when I say quality rating improvement system, it is a set system of standards that a program has to meet in order to say that they are quality. Think about it in terms of like a hotel rating, right?
Mhm.
You know that what a 5-star means, right? It sets a standard. That way, if a parent goes into a program that says that they are 3 stars, they should know certain things that they're going to see, right? So, me and my team, we go into programs, whether they're in a center or whether in a home, and we help them understand the standards. Not
Wow.
just understand them, we help them actually meet them. We teach them. We really coach them to getting to where they need to be. And most states are adopting quality rating improvement systems. And so, one thing that you can do if you're unsure about what the standards are in your state, you can Google QRIS and whatever your state is and see if your state has one, because all of that information is available. It is all public knowledge. So the one here in Ohio is called Step Up to Quality. And any parent who's interested about knowing what the stars mean can go on the website to learn about that program. So if your state has one, all you have to do is just look up QRIS for Quality Rating Improvement System, and then whatever your state is.
I'll put that up afterwards, you guys.
Yep.
QRIS. Okay. All right. So, what should you be looking for in a childcare?
So, one thing you want to do when you're looking for childcare is get connected with your local CCRNR. I think I mentioned earlier that I currently work for a CCRNR, which stands for Child Care Resource and Referral Agency. And that, for one, is going to be your database of
Okay.
where all your childcare programs are. So, like earlier, I know Miss Regina is still in Virginia. And so I looked up what is the CCRNR in Virginia, and the CCRNR in Virginia is called Child Care Aware. And that website
Okay.
is going to have a whole bunch of resources for childcare providers, but also for families. So you want to get connected with your childcare resource or referral agency, because more than likely they're going to help you find a childcare program that can fit your needs. You want to make sure that you know what their philosophy of learning is, and does it agree with what your philosophy of learning is. Because one of the biggest things that kind of makes a childcare program not a fit for a family is if they don't agree with the way that the child is getting is learning within that care. So you want to make sure that you, for one, do you know what your own philosophy of learning is? Do you know what you
Mhm.
think about how children are supposed to learn? And then, you know, do you agree with this childcare program's philosophy of learning? You also want to know what is their status with the state. Most childcare programs are licensed through whatever your state
Mhm.
monitoring body is. So, like in Ohio, it's Ohio Department of Jobs and Family Services. I looked at Virginia. All of the childcare programs in Virginia are through DSS, so
Mhm. Yeah.
Virginia Department of Social Services,
Yeah.
and you can go on their website. Again, it's all public knowledge. You go on that website, look up the childcare program that you're thinking about, and see if you can find their licensing reports, because that is going to tell you how safe that program is and how well they are following your state guidelines. You're also going to want to take a tour. Don't ever go to a childcare program and just sign up your child. I know that necessity is a thing. I know sometimes it's, hey, I got this job that start on Tuesday and I need to
Yeah.
figure it. It's Sunday. I got to figure out where my child going. I get it. I get that necessity is a thing, but you don't want to send your child somewhere where you did not go and visit. You want to go and see that it's clean to your standards. You want
Yeah.
to sit back and listen to how the teachers are talking to the children, and not in front of you, right? You want
Right.
to hear how the teachers are talking in the classroom down the hall while you're walking up, because that's going to tell you what they're doing during the day. And you always have the opportunity to do like a trial visit with the program. If a program does
Mhm.
not offer you a trial visit, that ain't the one. Don't go.
Right.
You want to be able to say, hey, can I leave my child here for an hour just to see if they like it? You want that trial. You
Okay.
Yeah, so those are the things you look for.
Wow, that's great. And going back to what I had said earlier, a lot of times we just think daycares are just somewhere to leave our kids. And
Hmm.
long as they're safe, you know, we're okay with that. But we don't really get into. I love what you said. When you go to a 5-star hotel, we should be looking for 5-star in all aspects of our life.
Hmm.
To
Yep.
be honest, in childcare, especially when we're leaving our children with somebody. So
Yep.
those are great. Those are great things. But I wanted to share too. Talking to people I know that have children and there's a shortage of help.
Hmm.
Do you notice that too?
Oh yeah, it's definitely there was ECE workforce has always kind of been short staffed, but
Mm,
the pandemic um has really made it worse. And part of the reason why, and this is one of the things I get on the soapbox about, is the ECE workforce is one of the most underpaid workforces, excuse me, by far. Um,
wow.
when we think about it, um, part of the reason why everybody gets away with paying childcare so low, not the parents, but like paying childcare employees,
Right.
is because the staff is black and female, right? Like that is
Wow.
literally one of the
That's
things that
the
happens
truth.
when you think about childcare
Yeah.
staff. It is black and female,
Yeah.
and so that's why they getting away with a starting pay of $9 an hour, right? For a
Wow.
class, and then I know, so like for example, in Ohio, to work at a childcare program, you don't have to have a degree. You just have to have a high school education, right? And
Mm,
so that gives the people another reason to say, oh, well, we don't need to pay you that much because you only coming in with high school, right? And
right.
then, but you don't also want to pay for the people who do have a bachelor's, what you giving them 10, 11,
Wow.
that ain't doing nothing for nobody. And
Right.
so people don't realize that childcare is a hard job and an underpaid job. So when the pandemic hit, it was like, oh, you mean to tell me I can go to Aldi and sit on my butt at a register and
Yep.
make $15 an
15.
hour, and I ain't got to deal with a child snotting on me and a parent cussing me out?
Yeah.
Oh, you bet I'm not coming back to this place.
Yeah. That is what happened.
And it really did. It really, truly did. And so I know we said we were going to talk about this earlier, but this is, I think, I said we were going to talk about this later, but this is a good segue
Hmm.
of how parents can really advocate for ECE, right? You
Oh
want
yeah.
your children
Hmm.
to be able to go somewhere. So you need to be on your legislators to really invest more in childcare. Um, for one, and talk to the businesses around you, right? Everybody got a big business somewhere. Like here in Columbus, Amazon is one of our largest employers,
Yeah.
right?
Also, yeah.
You got a huge you got a huge you're employing so many people. You know them people got kids. So why are y'all not investing in the childcare programs around your plant, right? So that hey, you want people out there riding in them trucks, you got to make sure that they kids got somewhere to go. So parents, y'all need to advocate with your legislators because the cities, the states need to be putting more money into childcare, and they can do it. Right now, the city of Columbus is putting a lot of money into childcare. They are doing scholarships for families who don't fit the poverty line. So, like, you know how people get subsidies? Well,
Yeah.
that group of people who make just a little bit too much to get the subsidies, but really can't afford childcare, they're getting scholarships. They're
That's
also
good.
giving money for signing bonuses too, so that people can really come back to the field. It can be done. So you need to get on your legislators about investing into childcare and making a commitment to investing in childcare, not just for just the childcare professionals themselves, but for you. There are
Yeah.
people, childcare is expensive. It
Yeah.
is really expensive. I know for myself, I made just too much to qualify for childcare, even with me not being with my child's father. If he were not involved, I don't know how it would have worked because
Wow.
he covered it. He covered it. I couldn't afford it. I would
Right.
not have been able to pay for my child to go to childcare. Like I just could not, but I didn't qualify for anything. And so there are so many people that fall into that gap that
Yeah.
end up don't going to work because I can't. It's either work or pay childcare. Or there's people who don't take don't take a raise because if they get a quarter more, they're gonna lose
They're
their
gonna be
childcare
over.
benefits.
Wow. Well, you know what I noticed, and that's just for child care or foster care.
Mm-hmm.
Children are the last that people invest in.
Absolutely.
When I tell
Absolutely.
you, I'm noticing that as a nonprofit organization, people will donate to the craziest things. They'll
Mhm.
donate to pets. They'll
Mhm.
donate to just I don't get it. And then when you're asking for donations for children who are our future,
Yep.
people give nickels and pennies.
Yep.
I'm sure some people, I'm not going to say everybody, some people out there are giving, but it's
Yeah.
very hard because guess what?
Mhm.
A lot of people have this mentality that only people that need help is Black children, and that's not.
Mhm.
And
Right.
so we're not seen as, and I'm just being honest,
Mhm.
that important. I mean,
No. Yeah.
if there's people out there that rather donate $10,000 to rescue animals,
Mhm.
but
Oh
they won't pay $10,000 to see a child
yeah. Yep.
in a home or see a child in a daycare.
Because they're gonna go to prison anyway. That's the way they think. It's like they're gonna go to prison anyway. But what people don't realize is you make a small investment now, then you don't have to pay for them to be in prison anyway. You paying
Yeah,
more money for them to be in prison.
yeah.
But it's because it's something that was not missing. It's that cyclical cycle that people don't realize. It's like you're perpetuating the
Right.
stereotype, you're perpetuating the stigma, you're doing all of that when you deny children access.
I agree. And I just feel so, and that's why I'm going to really make sure that I advocate for children, not just foster children, just
Mm-hmm.
children in general, because they get the end of the stick. I'm telling you, they don't get what they deserve. And it's not, sometimes it's the parent, that can't afford it because these
Mm-hmm.
jobs are not. And then you got you paying $1,700, $1,800 to rent somewhere. So
Yep.
how can you pay your rent and pay for childcare? So what's going to happen is you're going to get your cousin over there to watch your
Yep.
child, or you're going to get your grandmother when there's a uncle there that might be molesting your child,
Mm-hmm.
and because you're just trying to make ends meet
You're trying to
and,
make ends meet.
and live
Absolutely.
somewhere. So you don't, when you're trying to survive, you don't think about quality.
Yeah, no, and that is and that's why um I think it's so important to tie quality to, so like in Ohio, our quality rating system is tied to our publicly funded childcare system. You cannot serve publicly funded children without having a star rating. Like you have to have a star rating. You have to be in the system. So I think that that's important because to me that says the options that you have as someone who is relying upon this funding are going to be good options. You're not going to have the bottom of the barrel because before the quality rating improvement system, they were just going to the most available. You know what I mean? Just
Mm-hmm.
down the street. And I'm just going to drop my kids off here. But at least with it tying it to the publicly funded childcare system, at least it's saying, okay, if you are going to serve the poorest of our children, then you have to be doing the right things.
Is
And so
that
that's
is that an in-home thing too for the
yes,
home
yes.
the
If
people in the
you
home?
Yep. And so for the family child care providers, if you want to serve publicly funded children, you have to have a star rating.
Wow.
Yeah, that is the law here.
So they go in your house and make sure everything is
Yep. Hmm.
wow. Yeah.
I just drove to Newark the other day to help somebody submit for a higher rating in their home. Yep.
Wow. So what are some? I'm just kind of curious. What are some of the things they have to have in their home?
So like for example, a 3-star rating is like you're doing everything. A 3-star rating, whether you're in a home or in a center, it means that you are using a curriculum. You are
Okay.
following and fully implementing a curriculum with the children. You are assessing your children, making sure that you know where they are. You're giving them screenings. It means that you are doing an environmental rating scale, which is it's like a self-assessment to look at your environment. And it's researched. So you're actually going, looking at my dramatic play area, do I have all of these things? Nope. You know what? I have to make a plan to improve this area. They have to assess themselves and then make an improvement plan. So it's all of these different things that they have to do and show that they're doing. They have to make sure that they're showing that they're connecting with the families. So are they planning events to teach the families, right?
Oh wow.
Are they planning events to build that relationship between them and the family? Are they giving the families information about development? Are they giving the families information about health? Like, there's all these different standards that they have to meet, and they have to show that they are doing these things.
Okay. Patricia Coleman said, now that should be in every state, a high rating. But that you just said there is one in our state too. Every state.
I didn't see the QRIS in Virginia. I can't remember. I think Virginia does have a QRIS. Hold on, let me see. Yes, Virginia has the Virginia Early Childhood Foundation,
Okay.
which is beginning the QRS. Yeah, so you guys do have one. It's
Okay.
not in every state. We're working for every state to try to get one. And the states all talk. They all, so how I said that your CCRNR is Virginia's Child Care Aware.
Mhm.
Child Care Aware is the national child care resource and referral agency, and they all meet and connect and try to learn things from each other. We take, like, when we created our early learning development standards here in Ohio, we got some stuff from Maryland, and other places are learning from us. So yeah, we are trying to make this thing go more so national and making some standards, kind of across the board. But yes, if your state don't have it, you need to push on your state. Go to your Department of Ed. Go to whatever monitoring body is monitoring your child care programs and say, why don't we have a QRIS?
Right.
What standards are y'all using to evaluate our child care programs?
Right.
What are you doing? So yeah.
Oh, she said thank you, and that's awesome. Thank you for checking. Now for me, this is a personal question for me. How can I get my books in these daycares? Is it I have to go through something to do this?
So I mean, I connected with the 7 counties in Central Ohio, so I can have you on some of our meetings, and you can talk about your books to our program. You can talk to, I know that people are getting their books in libraries, so definitely call and get connected with the libraries and talk to your books through them. If you wanted to get it in the schools here, connect with ODE. I don't know who to talk to at ODE though, but I think a good place to start, if you wanted to get into like the schools in Central Ohio, I would say the Education Service Center of Ohio. So I can send that to you.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, I was just thinking, because I was like, like I'll be reading to a school next week, and I'm just, but before the pandemic, I was getting into schools reading, but then the pandemic hit. You know how that went, and then a lot of stuff stopped. Everything is on Zoom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to get back out there more. But I mean, this has been so like informational, because I think people don't really realize, we talked about this earlier, what they have available.
Yep.
I don't think, because if you're not really, like I said, if you're just in a crisis and you're trying to make ends meet and you're just trying to go to work and you don't think about quality.
You're not thinking about that at all. No.
So it's so much. I just tell everybody, that's why I try to have these shows and different topics, and then you all can go back and rewatch the show, and please like the show and share it, because it might not be informational for you, but somebody might need to hear this. But I was saying that a lot of times it's because of the lack of knowledge. We don't know. We don't know where to begin to look. We don't know where to find the answers. And so I notice, even on social media, Google, it's so much information out here that we can find a question or an answer to anything, but we just don't have the time, or we don't take the time to research it.
Yeah.
So we really need to be more intentional about our children, because I feel like they're the future.
Yep.
And my husband works in the school system as a counselor, and sometimes I can't believe the age of behavioral problems that these children have. You've been thinking a 5-year-old throwing chairs, a 5-year-old just having so many emotional problems. It's because we are not setting the foundation for these.
Absolutely.
Do you agree?
Absolutely, yeah. It all starts in those first 5 years of life. Like
Yep.
there are things that we don't know that we need to, as
Yeah.
I say as parents, a lot of us just did what we saw our parents do, right?
Mhm.
But it's making sure that we're setting that social emotional basis there.
Yeah.
Because that foundation, I mean, there's a reason why so many of us in our adulthood are unlearning our childhood.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why there's this
Yeah.
big push to go back and undo childhood trauma.
Yes.
We didn't know, right?
We didn't know. And our parents didn't know.
And they didn't know. They did the best
so
they could.
now we know, so,
Mhm.
I tell everybody who's on here or who's going to watch, let's just do better for our children. And that means everywhere, not just children in foster care, not just children, period, because they are the future. And when we look on the news and we look on television, our children are not surviving long. They're not. They're dying young. They're committing suicide young. They're not living, and it's something about foundation, giving them the right tools to survive. You
Mhm.
know, we're lucky that we survived because we've been through some traumas, but but this new generation is to me is more sensitive for some reason.
Mhm.
They're real delicate,
Yep.
and with social media bullying, and with children being bullied in school, children being bullied at home, poverty with children. I mean, I can just go down the list.
Mhm.
My God, they don't have a chance if we don't step in and make things right.
Yep. And if you don't know how to do it for yourself, putting them somewhere where they can get it and putting them
Yeah.
somewhere where they can help you. That's why the whole, part of like that, the higher rating is what are you doing to help the families? Like that's one of the things that we really impress upon our not just our family child care programs, but all child care programs are. Parents are coming to you because you're supposed to be the ones who studied this, right? Every parent is not an ECE professional, and we don't expect every parent to be.
Hmm.
However, they're trusting their children into your care. So, what are you doing to help them and partner with them to help them be the best parents that they can be for their child? And so, absolutely, if you feel like you as a parent don't know what you should be doing, make sure that you're doing the best you can to put them somewhere where you can also get help, because that's important too. Parents need support. So I think your child care program that you choose is not just for your child. That's another thing to look for. I forgot that. It needs to be
Okay.
somewhere that's going to support you as a parent.
That's awesome. And because I was looking at a show and the lady was doing a documentary. Actually, it was Oprah was interviewing Viola Davis, and
Mhm.
but she said what saved her was a teacher, or daycare provider. And you ever notice adults who say, I remember my favorite teacher
Mhm.
in their adult life? I remember
Mhm.
Mrs. So and so.
Mhm.
So being a provider is not just being a provider, but
Mhm.
you, like you had mentioned earlier, you have to have the love for children,
Mhm.
and
Absolutely.
those children will remember you.
Mhm.
Those children, I mean, I talk to friends now and be like, I remember my favorite teacher, Mrs. And we adults, and
Yeah.
you still remember who impacted your life when you were young.
Oh yeah, Miss Blair was my first grade teacher, and I still remember Miss Blair because she sat with me and
See,
made me feel special. You know what I mean? She
yeah,
sat with me and helped me submit for the Young Writers
wow,
contest. She came to my house, and I was so excited. She came to my house to tell my parents how what I was doing
wow,
good, and I still remember it because it was funny because she actually totaled me too. I was like, wait a minute now.
yes,
I didn't think she was about to like snitch on me. But it was kind of like, oh, she really cared enough. And it wasn't nothing I was doing. I was literally just cutting my hair. Like cutting my hair at school. She came to my house, like, yeah, I love Brittany, da 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 da. But she cutting her hair. But
oh
it was
wow,
still like, you came to my house to talk to my mom and my daddy, and to really show that you really paid attention.
yeah,
Like I didn't know she knew I was cutting my hair. I wasn't doing it in front of nobody, but she paid that much attention.
Paid that much attention to you. And so that's why I was saying, so it's just the special teachers that, you know, that really care about you and just doing this out of love. But this has been great information. And anybody who's watching, if you want more information, you can come back and watch the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put up the sites that Brittany looked up for us so you can know. And I mean, it's been really good for you being here. I thank you for sharing this with us. It is National Foster Care Month, but also I advocate for children. So it doesn't always have to be, and you know that it's a lot of foster children in daycare. So
absolutely,
it ties in together. And at the end of the day, it's just about the children.
Absolutely.
The children. It's not about, we're not going to, you know, put them in a certain category. All children need to have a solid foundation. All children need to be loved. All children need to know that they're special so they can grow up to be productive adults.
Absolutely.
Have a great life and not have to deal with trauma like a lot of us have to. You know, just, you know, so they're the future. And it's up to us to give them the tools that they need. So great job in what you're doing. And for you to be there 8 years, you must love what you do.
I do. I absolutely do.
So that is great. So guys, let me see if we had any questions. I don't know if you can see any questions on your side. Awesome, Virginia. Thanks for checking. The foundation starts at home. Someone says the foundation starts at home. And someone says it takes a village. Someone says, Brittany, thank you so much for your awesome nuggets. So, yeah, you know, go back.
That's all
on there. What he all on you said, well,
he said, what's up, cousin?
Yeah. So anybody that wants to hear this or send this to someone, please do. You know, our shows are on Lena's Adventures on YouTube, Lena's Adventures on Facebook, and Regina M. Austin on Facebook. So please share, like our shows. You guys have really been supporting me with these Tuesday shows. We are every other week now. So we're not every week. We're spacing it out to give time to get the guests ready. But next week, you guys, we will have not next week, the following week, we have an awesome young lady, Maya Thompson. She's going to be on here sharing her story about being 16 and having to give her child up for adoption. And she's going to tell you what happened with that story. So that's going to be in 2 weeks. So please join us. Brittany, thank you. You're so beautiful. Thank you for being on. Thank you for being on here. And hopefully you can come back and share some more or something, some more nuggets. But thank you for being on the show. Everyone show Brittany some love by sharing and liking this show. And if you have any questions, I can reach out to her and I can give you all the answers. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed day.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.